Hey, guys, and welcome to WFM Tipsy Thursdays. This week we are talking about what is OCC. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week we have the amazing Mark Williams. Mark, thank you so much for being my expert guest this week. I'm super excited to hear all your thoughts and bestow upon us your wisdom around OCC and what your thoughts are around it. So before we hop in, first of all, tell us, when did you first fall in love with workforce management? And tell us a little bit more about who you are.
Sure, no, absolutely, and it's great to be with you today. So I started in the, I guess we call it now the contact center space. It was a call center, back in the day, almost 30 years ago. I got into workforce management in 2001,
Okay.
and I was working for, at that time, it was called Convergys, which had been Matrix Marketing before that. And I
Okay.
was with Convergys, and I got an opportunity to work in Omaha in what we called a command center, and that was really my introduction to workforce management, and I just fell in love with it because you got to see so many different aspects of what goes on in the call center, from that vantage point, because, we would see like the commercial would run on the TV and it would show a toll-free number. And next thing we would start seeing calls flowing into the ACDs and going to the agents. And, you saw that, kind of be, beginning to end impact of how that industry really worked. And you got to work with the technology and work with operations. And there was just so much to it that, yeah, I just fell in love with it.
Wow. So yeah, you have some. I'm excited to dig in because you got some deep, rich history. It sounds like roots in the call center and contact center space. So I'm super excited to hear your thoughts. So in your own words, Mark, tell us, what is OCC?
Well, for me, especially when you are looking for people on the phones, which is primarily where I think it has the most value. It really has. It's a measure, I believe, of agent experience, and by that I mean, how busy are they? Are they getting back-to-back calls? Do they have a few minutes between calls? And of course, the measure is you're looking at staff time compared to productive time. Now, of course, different people define productive time, differently. But for me, if you're on a phone call, it's either that time that you're on the call, and sometimes also including after call work after that, if it's after call work that's connected to that call, and that measure then becomes an occupancy. I always like to point out too that it's, in my book anyway, it's different from utilization, because sometimes those phrases get interchanged. And for me, utilization is that productive time versus the time they're on the clock, not necessarily the time that they're on the phone. So to me, that's kind of the difference between occupancy and utilization. But I've heard over the years times where people kind of use those two terms interchangeably, and I believe anyway that they're not the same thing.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Occupancy and utilization are two different things, and that is a common. So that leads me right into my next question. So I'm not going to answer for you, but this is my next question: is what do you find is one of the big common myths around occupancy?
Well, one of the things is, I believe, is that occupancy as a goal. And by that, I mean, they come into it and they say, we have to hit, 85% occupancy, 90% occupancy, and you set it up as a goal. To me, occupancy is an output of your other goals. So,
Mm.
service level, handle time, those types of things. If you're managing those metrics, then occupancy becomes an output and kind of an indicator of, again, agent experience and things like that, because the two are very diopposed, I guess. Service level goes down, occupancy goes up. They kind of struggle back and forth with each other, and everybody wants to find that. I guess now the term would be that Goldilocks measure, to where you hit service level just right and you make occupancy just right. So, so I look at occupancy as an output of how you're managing your other metrics, and not treating it as a goal. I do treat it as a limit because I don't want to burn my agents out.
Right.
So there is a measure there of like, okay, now it's getting too high. We need to go back and relook at our staffing and things like that because that occupancy is running quite high. The other myth I think is trying to use occupancy as we think of it in the back office space. So when you look at chat and email and things like that, especially when concurrency comes into play, because I've seen times where they think, okay, occupancy can be greater than 100%, because they're working two chats at the same time.
Mhm.
Well, I've never seen a computer created yet that actually types in two windows at the same time. So, concurrency, you're still only working on one thing or the other.
Right.
So occupancy truly can't be greater than 100%. So, but I've seen that used as well as occupancy as a way to reflect concurrency and the belief that you can run, 150% occupancy. Um, it may affect the math the way you want it to, but realistically, of course, we know that it's just not possible.
Yeah, I love that. Hey there. It's Juanita Coley here, and I want to personally invite you to book a WFM support call if you're currently transitioning into a new WFM solution or you're on the market for a new WFM solution. Trying to purchase a new WFM tool can be a daunting task because so many options that are out on the market. Workforce management is our niche skill set. Our superpower is being able to align that niche skill set with your CX, your customer experience, and your employee experience goals. And so I want to talk to you to make sure that while you're transitioning into a new WFM solution or you're purchasing a new WFM solution, it does not impact your customer experience and your employee experience negatively. So if that is you, book a call, and I'm excited to talk to you. See you soon. Bye. All right, my last question for you, Mark. Give us a tip or a strategy when it comes to managing or working with OCC or occupancy.
Well, first off, even though like I just got done saying that not being a goal, I still track it very closely.
Mm.
So I track that for by every interval, 30-minute interval, just like I do service level and handle time and everything else, because it gives you, if you're running 100% service level, then you need some other kind of measure to tell you truly how busy you are, and that's where that occupancy starts to come in. So I make sure that I continue to track it, like I said, at interval level, daily, weekly, monthly. If nothing else, it gives you some indication of possibly, if indeed you are overstaffed, or maybe your handle time is shorter than what you were thinking it was going to be, or just the fact that you have availability to do other things, increase coaching and feedback and training and other type of off phone activity that can be accomplished because you have, the availability to do it. And you're keeping an eye on that agent experience, which, nowadays is something, we talk a lot about customer experience and agent experience. And I believe that occupancy is one of those measures to where gives you some good insight into what that agent experience is like.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Mark. Listen, tell the people where they can find you if they wanted to reach out to you.
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. Obviously, I'm like I said, I love talking about all things workforce management. So if anybody has uh, other thoughts around occupancy different from what I've shared here, then I would love to hear them. I'm, even though, like I said, I've been doing this for close to 30 years, I still believe that you can learn new stuff every day. So I
Absolutely.
always like hearing everybody else's opinions. So yeah, you can find me there on LinkedIn, and look forward to any feedback that anybody might have.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that so much. I love the thought that you had around, or the call out that you had around occupancy and utilization. I used to preach that for years, and people would give me like this eye, like, what?
Yeah.
So I love that thought that you had there. And also kind of using it understanding it as a outcome, not necessarily as a goalpost. So I absolutely love that as well.
All right. Thank you very much. It's great talking to you.
Great talking to you as well. We got to definitely have you back. What y'all think? We got to have Mark back, right? All right. All right. All right, man. Well, that was an amazing, I absolutely love difference between occupancy and utilization. It is a thing, right? So we may have to have Mark to come back and talk to us some more about that on our next Tipsy Thursdays. But if you have a topic that you want us to cover, okay, this is not about being right, wrong, or it's more so about sharing our insights around the things that we've learned. And as you've heard from Mark, 30 something years in the space, listen, I'm sure there's a lot to be gleaned there. So listen, leave your thoughts, leave your comments, and make sure that if there's a topic you want to cover that we know about it. All right. Until next time, go be great and let's make impact. See y'all soon.